There appears to be multiple signals indicating an upside and full continuation to come. We will be combining some Wyckoff theory alongside statistical analysis and fundamentals to gain a true edge over the coming sessions ahead. Welcome back to the channel on this happy Friday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into ticker symbol ASRE. Let's kill 'em, team. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa, and let's go ahead and go over ticker symbol ASRE. Okay, so very interesting set of events happening here with this ticker. As I'm going to be honest here. I am seeing a potential reversal, and several strategies are kind of giving that off. First of all, I want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to our good friend and ARCa Bulls analyst, right, for posting up this right here. So he actually says ASRE, Holcomb Energy Tech patents are worth billions of dollars in his opinion. They have the ability to be world-changing and a true green tech that works for the better of the whole planet and humanity, right? So Dr. Holcomb named the board of ASRE means or leads to what? Well, he actually posted the link right over here, and as we can go ahead and get rid of this now, and let's go ahead and just show what that can lead to, right? So this is the portrait screen right here. I'm going to go ahead and just let you know that the links for the Discord are absolutely there for you to join. Know that it's free, and it absolutely is open to you and your friends, but this is the Form 8K that was actually just presented here just this morning at 6:14 a.m., per our analyst himself, right? So Off-Grid Gorilla, thank you so much for your due diligence and for your support for the community and the team, right? So yeah, go ahead and know here that this is there and posted and ready for your observation and for your review. Okay, team, so this is already looking good. We're definitely getting some news here before the new week ahead. Very rough day today, as it was the triple witching and expiration of all contracts, really, including your equities contracts, your ETF contracts, and your futures contracts too. So everything should be clearing up pretty soon. I definitely know that in the economic calendar we have. Let's go ahead and pull that up right here, real quick, right? So we can have an update. So let's see. Building permits are coming up on the 19th, right? Which is that's going to be on Tuesday. So the one that we're looking out for, okay, so yeah, I guess Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. we have a Fed press conference. But what we really need to look out for is actually right over, I guess, you know what, United States, September 28th, the GDP growth rate, I guess, quarter over quarter would be something to look out for. And most importantly, we have the core PCE index month over month coming up on September 29th. And let's see, if we have any more dates to really talk about here, it would be most importantly this, yeah. So for sure, this is going to be the date to look out for. That's going to be September 20th, and that's going to be the Fed interest rate decision and the FOMC economic projections. So definitely watch out for this date here, September 20th. We are going to be facing some really turbulent markets, so I would kind of plan for that, okay, team? So now let's go back to our analysis here and start talking about some other things. So as far as the drawings are concerned, let's go ahead and gain visibility here for them. All right. So you may already know what this is. I posted it in the on X, on Twitter, right? So what this is a daily representation of a Wyckoff reaccumulation event, right? So what you're looking at here is a very similar, after a massive downtrend here, right? Just like it was here, facing those zigzags. We got those zigzags there. We started this channel here, right? So now this particular point is called your terminal shakeout, right? So this terminal shakeout usually leads to a shift in price action, which leads to an upside. And as you can see here, this was our terminal shakeout here, right? Massive downside. And then price action essentially started to rise upon that. right? So now, the area that I'm pointing at here is your ordinary shakeout or your ordinary spring. And that appears to be right about here, right? Right about there. Sorry that I just moved the circle, right? There you go. So this is essentially what we're looking out for right now. And there could be a shot at the glory here, man. So I think that there could be a nice reversal coming in soon, seeing that we are facing a very similar, I guess, a small distribution here leading into that spring, which would then lead to the official reaccumulation here for an upside, right? So, yeah, I definitely see some nice price action coming in for this, and it matches some of the fundamental data coming out, right? So now, know for a fact that I actually do not practice Wyckoff theory too much. It's just that I've studied it some, and I noticed the accumulation here. I've noticed this this entire pattern here, right? It looked very similar to me, so I'm like, oh my goodness, this is actually very much like Wyckoff here, and this would be the secondary shakeout, so, or the ordinary, right? So I think this is getting prepping for a nice push to the upside soon. Okay, at least this is what the formation itself is suggesting, right? So let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart and see what we have, right? Because I do have some things here to show you. Now you're observing ASRE on the 15-minute chart here, and what I would have to point out is that if you observe all of this history here, relative to, of course, the 15-minute time frame, you're not going to catch too much of what's called the manipulation, right? So this indicator here is able to catch manipulation in the open market, in the lit market, right? So, and you're noticing, and it works for cryptocurrencies too. So you're noticing here that we are not catching those yellow X's anywhere. So what's curious are these two that just happened when? Well, last Friday was one of them. Actually, I'm sorry, this Monday was one of them. And this was actually just yesterday. So as you can see here, both of these manipulation signals actually led to a sell-off, right? And notice here that this was a manipulation signal printed right at the open of this candle and immediately sold off, creating that secondary shakeout. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that there is a major shift happening within the asset that now, for some reason, requires for whomever to start manipulating the market. So, yeah, this is very curious that now that we're getting all these, good news catalysts, fundamentally speaking, and we're starting to stack these signals of manipulation here alongside the Wyckoff event here. There's a couple of things kind of leaning towards a probability here, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here, and it's very nice. Next thing to observe, this is the 12-hour Gaussian channel, right? So the Gaussian channel here is actually testing that very secondary shakeout came to test the mean band of the Gaussian bands, right? So that came in perfectly and bounced right out of it. Now the 12-hour candle that you're seeing right here is actually representative of today. Well, I mean, honestly, today. So you can see here that we closed outside of the bands. Absolutely bullish, coming down to test that support and then continuing on to the upside, breaking out and reclaiming the outside of the bands, and then retesting that support one time and then closing outside of it. In doing this, right, we already had a signal here. We already had a warning from our ARCa Div 1 indicator, this is a divergence locator and strategy, right? So what it does for you is that it locates, let's see, the hidden, regular, and let's see, phantom drives of hidden or regular bullish divergence, right? So this is pointing out here a drive of regular bearish divergence, which happens, divergence is usually, or is actually better said, the opposition of price action versus momentum. And in this case, momentum represented by the RSI. And this is, this is my strategy. I coded this, right? So this is the ARQ Div 1. And I will draw it in for you just like this. This higher high paired with this lower high on the top side, right, leads to a drive of regular bearish divergence. It got realized and price action came to the downside. So we were already getting that print here, right? Now, the algorithm has not printed the bullish drive of divergence here. This is actually me identifying something that the algorithm hasn't quite caught just yet, right? So, I mean, I can only tell it to trade like me as so much, right? I'm trying to replicate it as much as humanly possible, but it's still, at the end of the day, humanly, right? So yeah, please notice over here that at this major pivot, we are now creating a series of lower lows paired with a series of higher lows, right? So what that tells you is that now we're getting an indication of hidden bullish divergence and a pretty large drive at that in the 12-hour time frame. Okay, so that's in it. It's in my practice, I consider this upside pivot the validation of this this major time frame bullish divergence drive. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here. It's looking very, very bullish from my perspective. We're getting validations of critical supports with continuation to the upside. I am pretty much in the notion here that this is going to continue to the upside, and that is my personal bias. Definitely know that, full transparency, I am long this asset as well, as I do see some promise coming in the relative short-term time frame. Okay, so now if you are curious over this strategy, this is something that I'm currently building for the ARQ holders. Similar to the indicators that we were just looking at here, right? The one that spots manipulation and all that good stuff. I am setting up a channel where the ARQ holders will be able to gain access to my personal strategies and indicators as well. So that would be a bonus for you as an ARQ holder. Okay, so just go ahead and get in touch with us at arqindicators@gmail.com and we'll get you situated. So now let's see I guess the 5-day time frame volatility versus momentum backtest is still fired, and statistics are still showing that we have an upside completion, and that upside completion of the 435.88% upside thrust, aka mean, would lead to that 50.44 cent range, which is confluent to the 1.618 Fibonacci ratio at 47.10. And yeah, so that's it. It's still not invalidated. You can see here that the firing of the signal happened upon the crossing of the 15% line of both the volatility component and moving average. That paired with an upside on stochastic momentum led to the firing of a critical signal that I mean, at one point, out of that 400, how much was it? Let's see. Out of that 435.88% move, about 380% of that has been completed since the signal fired. That's right here at the exit of that on this candle. So, and that's what I meant in the beginning, that this is getting set for a continuation to the upside. I didn't say recovery, right? Because it actually created a very, very unique recovery here. So let's look at this on the weekly time frame, because we just got the weekly close, and guess what? That weekly close, now using candle analysis on a weekly time frame, which gives it a good strike rate. This gives us, after or during a downtrend, a massive bullish hammer. And that usually indicates a potential reversal to price action here, or continuation to the upside from its initial trajectory, right? So everything is looking very good for the ASRE asset. Let's see what else we can talk about here. Okay, yeah, you know what? This would be very important. We definitely have still inclining volume here, right? So it's looking very bullish still. We're actually still in, this is the accumulation distribution indicator here on the bi-weekly chart, and you can see clearly that we're still accumulating this asset, and absolutely in a historical manner. This is one of the most, I would say, most acquired OTCs that I've noticed over my time, and I mean, it is incredible to see how much accumulation is happening. So the accumulation from this point being the bottom side of this candle here, bi-weekly, this candle here would be the bi-weekly of July 2023. So from this point here to this point here, showing all of this accumulation, it's quite curious, because we have nothing nothing from this point to all the way to this point here. Notice that there's really nothing showing here. So yeah, team, this whatever is happening here obviously is showing some clear suppression and some manipulation, and I do believe that this is getting itself ready for a pop like no other. And I'm not sure where it's going to go. I'm not sure how far it can go, but I just full transparency, I am frankly getting ready. Now, looking at the 3-day time frame here, using another one of my algos, this is the reversion variant. It would be volatility paired with a mean reversion, right? Similar to what you do in with Bollinger Bands, right? You get the expansion phase, then you get the contraction when it becomes tighter. Expansion becomes further away. More shares traded during expansion, less shares traded during contraction. All right, so you can see here that the mean was located right at about 27 cents on the 3-day chart. That capitulation that we faced, that shakeout that we're looking at, came down to a target, a low of 25.50. Okay, so that is actually pretty consistent to the 27-cent bottom that we have here and immediate recovery. The only reason we have a sell signal here is because it's naturally at that the expansion top. But of course, I think I may have adjusted. Yeah, I did. I adjusted my standard deviation multiplier. That actually should be 2 standard deviations from the mean, and that is actually more like what we're seeing here. Now notice how there is not a sell signal right present here, right? So that's and there's critical expansion, meaning that there is a massive amount of volume currently there and not really represented in the price action. So really, really curious to see that, man. Okay, now moving on to the last part of the analysis here, it's actually going to be the RSI. Please notice that the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, it's suggesting a little bit of consolidation here, but we still have a slight bias towards the upside versus the RSI signal, right? This is the SMA 14 represented by a pink line, and the RSI signal itself represented by that baby blue line. A little bit of consolidation still within the bi-hourly time frame. 4-hour as well, and the 8-hour as well. We do have some upside pivots on both the 12-hour and the daily, actually on the bi-daily and the 5-day as well. Slight upside pivots, right? So what I'm looking at here is just a dormant giant, right? That's about to pop off the moment any news catalyst gets released on this. Okay, so I would kind of brace for some type of price action here, as there is a possibility where this thing can lead to some very interesting highs. Okay, team. So I don't know what's going down in the fundamental side of things, but I do see that there is a higher probability of an upside move coming in, right? So now if we're looking at some targets to the upside, then we can use the ARQ balancer, which actually displays relevant areas of ranges of top sides and lower sides, right? So this, I actually also changed the, let me see if I can get it to, there we go. I also changed the pivot look back. So at this point here, I'm using a 5 period, right? So it's just, it's for us to display the potentials of how wide of a pullback we can observe. So I wanted to use something that's a closer proximity, and this is why I chose a 5-day look back, meaning a weekly look back, right? So if we were to move to the upside from this point, then we would actually be reaching some very curious targets, and targets of which we're already testing. You know, that target of around 41.94 or just around 41.98. We were there several days, and using it as resistance and support, right? So it's very curious for it to lead up to this potential here, right? So the lowest target that it can possibly hit, of course, would be around that 25 cents. But please try to observe that we have this right down here as the support grab, and that is actually very, very, very confluent to the low that we faced down here at 32.06 just today. Right, so we're getting that clear recovery here. We're getting now some higher lows and higher highs, which is essentially bullish, right? So now observing the 15-minute volatility versus momentum. Please notice that we have an upside pivot here on volatility, looking looking very nice, crossing into the bullish control zone. I want to see this starting to expand, which would be indicative of more shares being traded or more volume. So starting from the 5-minute time frame, we still have that upside pivot on the 5 minutes, slight little tiny pullback there. This is likely bleeding into the 10-minute, right? 10-minute in the bullish control zone, upside pivot and gravitation as well. And this is slightly pivoted towards the upside, which is, yeah, indicative of some more shares being traded. And now as you jump into the 15-minute time frame that we just passed, of course, we're just getting this smaller upside, which means that we are getting now a new wave to the upside. We're starting to cascade the shorter time frame momentum into the larger time frame, okay, team? So please go ahead and know that that is what's in the cards here for this ticker. I'm actually a very big fan over what's happening here. So, yeah, I would keep a close eye on this. Make sure to put it on your watch list, and then we shall observe this. Go ahead and come by the live streams, as I am doing live streams between around 6:30, 6:40 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily. Okay, team? So, yeah, please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I could not suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well a very, very good weekend, and I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios.